Hey, welcome. In this video, I'll show you how to effectively use the most popular Django ORM methods, all, get, and filter. I've seen many beginner developers are struggling when to use all, when to use get, and when to use the filter methods. I'll show you some practical examples and use cases on when to use each of them. So watch this video till the end and let's get started. To understand when to use these ORM methods, I have created a simple Django project with the category model and the product model. So before we proceed, let me quickly show you my project setup. So let me take you to my VS Code. So let me first show you my project. So I have simply created one very simple Django project with the name ORM1. Okay. So in this project, I have created one app that is products. Okay. So in the products app, we have models. So in the models, I have just created one category and product model. So in the category model, I have name and description. Description is the optional field. And also in the product, I have a product name, price, stock, category, and created at. So this category is a foreign key, right? So this is actually the foreign key. So this means we are assigning the each product to a specific category. Okay. So once that is done, I also have this admin.py customization. So in here, I have simply created one list display. So it is just to show my data in the table format in my Django admin. All right. So one more thing I want to show you here is the products, right? So in here I have added the categories, some dummy categories I have added and some products also I have added. Okay. So each of them like two or three products are there. This is for testing purpose. Okay. Now let's see the ORM methods, all, get, and filter. Okay. So I'll show you when to use them in what use cases. Okay, so we will take simple use cases and based on these categories and products. So first thing we'll discuss is the all method, right? So all is a very simple method that you can run on your model. Okay, as the name says, all is used to fetch all the records from the database. Okay, for example, in our case, if you want to fetch all the products from the table, then you will use all method. Okay, so now let's see how to use all method. So if I go to this home, this is page not found. Okay, so that's because I have not configured any URL pattern for this home. Okay, but we don't need that. But the URL pattern I have configured here in my ORM1 project, that is in the urls.py, you can see anybody who is come to this products endpoint, he is, we are forwarding him to the products.urls. Okay, so he will actually land here inside this products and urls.py. Okay, so we have also configured one product view here, right? So you can see here in the views.py, we have a simple product function, and in this function we are simply printing this use, all, get, and filter methods. That is what you are seeing here. If I go to products, this is what you're seeing here. Okay, all right. So now let's see if I want to fetch all the records from the database. You see we have many products, right? So let me go back here. So I will just write get all the products. Okay, so I'll say all products is equal to product dot objects dot all, right? So what happens is when you run this query, so this will actually give you all the products from the database, right? So whatever data you have here in the product model will be returned to returned to you as a query set. Let me print it here. You can either print it here on the terminal, or you can also print it inside the HTTP response. Okay, so that's up to you. So I'll say all products, right? All products, and also you can print here. Okay, in both sides you can print. Okay, so let's refresh, and here you can see all the products has been printed on the browser, right? So usually we debug the code in the terminal, but I just printed the products as it is using this HTTP response. We don't use HTTP response to print the data as it is. Okay, so this is just an example code. Okay, but you see, we have got the product, query set, all the products has been printed. Okay, so that's why use all method only when you want to fetch all the records from the database. Okay, one more additional tip I want to give you here is don't use all method on the bigger table. Okay, for example, if you have a lots of data, thousands of data in your database, often you don't have to use all. Okay, so that will actually slow down your application. Okay, so but if necessary you can use all, but if it is not necessary you don't need to use all, because most of the time what happens is you only want to see the number of products in your database. Okay, so not all the query set or not all the whole product, right? So in that case you can use count method. Okay, so if you just want to see the see the total number of products in your database, you can simply use count method that will actually return the count. Okay, if you just use refresh it, you see 11, right? So we have 11 products here. Okay, so this is just a simple use case, because I've seen many beginner developers code, they actually do this. They do like this, product dot objects dot all, then after that they will just use like this count. Okay, so I would say don't do that, just run count if you just want to see the number of or fetch the number of products or results in the database. Okay, so that's about all. Okay, so now let's go back to, let me just revert it back to all, and this is we don't need this now. Okay, so now let's talk about get. So when to use get? You see, if you want to take a single object from the database, then you should use get. Okay, so all is to fetch all the data, but in get, you will have to only fetch the single object. Okay, so based on some criteria, for example, if you want to fetch the product whose ID is 1 or 2 or some unique identifier, you can either use ID or slug. Okay, so that's when you use get. Okay, so for example, let's see the ID of some Amazon Alexa, right? So the ID of this product is 3, right? So now I know the ID, right? So somehow I know the ID. Let's say I want to fetch this particular product only. Okay, not all the product. So at this time we want to use get. Okay, so let's say use get to fetch single object. Okay, so let's say product, that's equal to product dot objects dot get. Okay, so in the get we need to pass some criterias whose ID is equal to 3, right? So here what will happen is you see, if I print product, right? So let it be like this, don't worry. Let me refresh. Okay, let me refresh. Of course this is going to print everything, but we want to see the terminal. You see this Amazon Alexa, right? Because the ID of this product is 3, right? Only in this case, only if you want to fetch a single product, right, single object based on any unique identifier, then you should use get method. Okay, so like similarly, if you want to change this tennis ball, the ID is 7, right? So if you change it to 7, and then you see, you refresh and go back, and you can see it is actually giving you a single object, a single product, right? Now there's a catch here. What if the ID 7 does not exist, right? For example, if I say 500 here, right? So the ID 500 does not exist here, right? ID 500 does not exist here at all. Now if I refresh, now you see product matching query does not exist, right? This means this product does not exist in our database. So that's what you are seeing here in the debug message, right? So to handle this error gracefully, we should wrap this code inside a try and except block. Okay, so this is you should remember this whenever you use get, right? Always try to use a get function inside a try and except block. Okay, so try, okay, try to get the product with the ID 500. If there is any exception, right, except product dot, the error you can see here, right, product dot does not exist. Just copy this here and put it, right? If I mean in the exception product dot does not exist, then what we want to do, right, we want to handle the error gracefully. So we can, I am just printing the error. Okay, we just don't want to show the error, I mean the this kind of error to the user, right? So that's why I'm just saying product does not exist or something, product does not exist or product not found or something. Okay, so I will remove this print statement here. Okay, so let's see, I am trying to get the product 500, right? So let's refresh. So let's go back to the terminal, and in the terminal you can see product does not exist, and this time we did not get any errors, right? So that's how you handle the error in the try block. Okay, so again, use all only if you want to fetch all the data from the database, and use get if you want to fetch a single object from the database, right? So next function is a filter, right? When to use filter method, right? So use filter method if you want to fetch the multiple records from the database based on the conditions. Okay, for example, if you want to fetch all the products from a specific category, then you use a filter, right? So let me show you how you can use it. So I'll write the use case here. Fetch all the products, fetch all the products of a specific category. Okay, category. Okay, so let's say I'll simply say PR or something. Okay, so I'll say product dot objects, products dot objects dot, this time we want to use filter. See, we don't want to use all here because we don't want all the products of the, you know, from the database. We also don't want to fetch a single product, right? We still want to fetch the multiple products, right? So multiple products, but here in the filter we will have some conditions, right? For example, you might have seen in SQL queries, right? So select star from table name where you put the conditions, right? So similar thing will also happen here, right? So for example, in the filter function, I will say category, right? So I want to fetch all the products from a category. Let me see the category. I have like 2 products in a sports category, right? So I will fetch all the products from a category named sports. Okay, so let's see how it works. I'll say category underscore underscore, you remember this underscore underscore. Why? It's because we are referring to the field of a category model, right? In the product model we have a foreign key relationship between this category and product, right? So now I want to actually fetch the, you know, refer to this category name, right? Category name, whose category name is equal to something, right? So that's why I use category models name is equal to sports, right? Category models name is equal to sports. I'm not using C capital here. I'm not using C capital here. I'm using C small here. That's because you see, I'm actually referring to the field of a product model, right? You see the product model, right? Category is a field of a product model, but there is a relationship here to this category model, right? So that's why I use underscore underscore to get access to this name, right? So this category's name is equal to sports. That is what I'm writing here. Okay, let's say print PR, save, and I'll refresh, and you can see query set. I got the query set, 2 query set, right? So that's because in the sports category I have 2 products, right? Cricket bat and tennis ball. Okay, so that's why you use filter. Okay, so inside the filter you can add any number of conditions. Okay, so it is depending on your use cases on or your requirements. Okay, but just know, use filter method if you want to fetch the multiple records from the database based on some conditions or some criteria. Okay, so that's how you decide when to use all function, when to use get function, and when to use filter function in Django ORM. Okay, so if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and I'll see you in the next video.